day. Busy, busy, busy all day. So I just want to talk about the womb. We all come from one. Some of us are lucky enough to carry children in our own and give birth to them. Or in my case, have some sort of sunroof delivery. But I just want to talk about the womb and the transplant and why I think it is a terrible thing. So before I do that, let me tell you what is great about it. But while I wait for you all, let me just tell you tonight's episode is sponsored by this.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Isn't that great? Look, I am deeply aware that had we not been in this quagmire of madness, that I would be really I would see the sisterly story of a woman allowing her sister to have her womb implanted so she could carry children. And had we not been in this craziness, although I've always had some quite strong opinions about when 60-year-old women have been given the capacity, have been enabled to have babies. I think that, and the same for men, older men who become fathers. I think that they lose sight of the important thing, which is a child. And I've got many views on this. However, I wouldn't be quite so afraid of a womb transplant if I genuinely thought this wasn't the start of something horrific, as opposed to the end of something lovely. So, and this kind of weird disconnect with human beings. So, do we really think that somebody who has decided that with a cocktail of drugs, a woman can have another woman's womb, and in this case, it's her sister, and she has to take drugs and all that stuff, but do we really think that it will end there? Like, genuinely? The doctor that talked on Talk TV today basically started talking about biological men having wombs, and he gave all different sorts of physiological reasons why not. Not once did he answer the question with a why would we? Why would they? Why would we? In what possible way would it be necessary for a man to carry a baby, aside from an extreme fetish? What possible reason would there ever have been for a man to take drugs to squeeze God knows what out of his nipple and shove it in a baby's mouth? What possible reason would there ever be to enable a man to breastfeed, aside from to satisfy his fetish? So I'm afraid today's news brings grave concerns, as far as I'm concerned. Grave concerns. Because I think that what we've opened the door to, what these doctors who play God have done, if they've set their stall, that the next thing they're going to do is try and implant it into men, because there's going to be so much money in it. There's so many rich AGPs. And totally parasitically invading women's bodies and stealing from our bodies things that men cannot have, cannot grow. There's no amount of hormones or wishful thinking or begging in the mirror. There is no place in which a man grows a womb. There is no place in which a man's pelvis is fit for pregnancy. There is no place in which a man's brain changes dramatically when a fake womb or the womb of a dead woman with a baby with very little potential of happiness potentially grows in his body. There's no body around that womb that can ever be a mother. There's no body around that womb that could ever give it nutrition, bond through bones. The hypothalamus grows. There's no trigger point at which a man is going to be waking with his breast leaking. And these are God-like doctors. That's what this is. It's the same as doctors who gave puberty blockers. They don't care about children. They don't care about kids. We know in the Tavistock they don't care about children. They just got them in. They churned them out. Most of the people that worked there cared about their jobs more than the children that they gave puberty blockers to. The man that was running the Tavistock when they started doing this barbaric nonsense, he wanted a name for himself. He didn't want to look after children. He didn't genuinely think about the long-term consequences. He thought about his legacy. It's only the same with these doctors. They don't care about women. They don't care about those two sisters today. They care about their legacy. They care about playing God. Olsen Kennedy in America, she doesn't care. Whatever the blonde psychopath is, whatever her name is, Sieve, whatever. She doesn't care about children. She cares about her legacy. She cares about her bank balance. So be fair warned that this is the beginning. In my mind, it just means that I think I'm right. Not that I think my womb would be worth donating even if I dropped dead tomorrow. But unless I'm assured that there will be no way that my body can be used to facilitate the fantasy of a man who wants to be a woman, like no part of my body will be given to those men. I can't. I simply can't offer my body for organ donation. I just can't. I don't even know what they could do or what they would do, but I just wouldn't do it. I mean, that doctor today, and I don't want to question the man's intelligence. He saves lives, I'm sure. But the idea that he thinks that the 2010 Equality Act gives the right to a man pretending to be a woman to have the same treatment in the NHS, despite his different body, as a woman, and that would pave the way for them to even think about womb transplants into a man, just makes me despair. Utterly despair. So here's a bit of light relief.
Charlie says the best time to get your cock out in the ladies' changing room is when the most little girls are around. And if you really want, you can jiggle it around and have the best fun ever.
If you want to help one of the most successful fightbacks to this nonsense, then you have to go to adulthumanfemale.store. You can access your local store from that point, and you can become part of the best dressed women, females on the planet. I don't even know what to say. It's just the thin end of the wedge. It's what I've always talked about. You do something and you think that there's some wonderful, altruistic, wonderful outcome for people, and you must know by now that this transplanting of a womb is genuinely not for the benefit of women. It's certainly not for the benefit of children. It won't ever be for the benefit of women. I just don't believe it. Even with some of the more extremes in fertility when it comes to sort of women above the age of 55 getting pregnant, I just think, who is that about? Because it's not about those women. It's always the thin end of the wedge. Always. But anyway, look, you have to keep watching out because this is how they do it. This is how they force you into a position where we are even talking about men having the body parts of dead women implanted into them so they can have some fulfillment of their sexual fantasy, their macabre, vile sexual fantasy of being pregnant and carrying a baby. And do you know what? There isn't a woman on this planet who is sexually aroused by the thought of being pregnant. And there's so many men that fetishize it. It's revolting. It's a whole porn genre. So if you can just keep your wits about you, when you are being asked permanently, be kind, be kind, be kind, then I promise we will win. If you can step up and start being the solution to the problems that we raise, then I promise we will win. Here at Let Women Speak, we are bringing more and more people into the fold with every passing day. And if you join in and you be the billboard, then you are part of that fight back too. And do you know why else we're going to win? Because I never lose.